Today I fucked up by not ever visiting my dad's grave. My dad committed suicide 25 years ago today, when I was 15. He was cremated and I went to the funeral. However, I never went to the scattering of his ashes, but they had a grave/memorial for him where we had a brass plaque made for him where they had scattered them, but I never visited, so hadn't seen it. Not sure why. We had a good relationship. He was a great dad. Whether it was due to finalizing his death, laziness, or whether it just felt weird, I don't know. Anyway, I decide today is the day I'm going to go visit. I didn't tell any of my family I was going there, and when I arrived, they've built a fucking car park for the cemetery on top of his plot, so now due to my slackness I will never get to see it. I rang my brother and he already knew, but since I hadn't been, he didn't want to disappoint me sooner, as he didn't think I'd ever go, so didn't think I'd ever find out. Also, depression is shit. Speak to someone. Too long didn't read, put off ever seeing my dad's memorial for 25 years, and now there's a car park built on him. They built a parking lot on top of the cemetery? Kind of. They extended the parking of the cemetery over his plot. Remember your dad in your heart and mind. The grave is just a physical representation to help us feel closer to them, but it is by no means the only, or even best, way to do so. Keep the memories of him in the back of your mind, always, and he'll be with you. Thank you. That's kind of what I have been doing. I'm not a religious person, so didn't need a place to visit etc. Just wanted to see it so I could say that I had. Damn. Usually these stories are funny, but this one is just sad. Pensive face. Sorry op. It's okay, you can laugh. I've seen the funny side of it now. As much as it's a bit annoying, it's another funny story to tell my kids about him. First of all, I don't see how that was legal without moving his marker, at least. Second of all, someone should have told you when it happened so you would have time to pay your last respects. Can you visit a place where you had happy memories of your father and say a silent goodbye to him there? In many places graveyards only guarantee the plot for certain number of years. Here in Germany, I think 10 to 20 years is normal. How the fuck were they allowed to build a car park over memorial plaques? Jesus. I think they were all stolen, or to stop them being stolen. Today I fucked up by exclaiming it smells like a dead body when an actual dead body was in the house. This happened in 2015 when I was a senior in high school. My grandfather had been diagnosed with cancer in September of 2014 and had been told that it was terminal. He had just retired and we were all really sad that he wasn't going to be able to enjoy retirement with his wife. He remarried after my grandma. He was a goofy guy who wore pants with embroidered ducks on them and always had a magic trick to show everyone when we would visit. During his last day alive, my mother, sister and myself came over to support his wife. There were also neighbors coming in and out of the house saying their goodbyes and just consoling each other. When my grandfather passed away, we were all in the room with him and told him we loved him and that it was okay to let go. After we left the room to give his wife some time alone, my sister, my mom and I went downstairs to join the neighbors at the dining room table. This table was able to seat about 8 people and it was full, so I was standing next to my mom at the head of the table. People had brought food to snack on and someone brought a cheese plate. I did not notice this cheese plate, so I started to comment about how stinky the room was to my mom and sister. Eventually I said the words "it smells like a dead body" out loud in front of everyone. The room was silent except for my mom and sister's attempts to conceal their laughter. Turned beet red and added dead cat to the sentence and then abruptly left to use the bathroom and reassess my life. I know my grandpa would have laughed if he heard it, so that makes me feel better. But I can never look any of those neighbors in the face without remember that moment, upside down face. TL, doctor. While standing in a house that had my recently deceased grandfather upstairs, I said it smells like a dead body, dead cat, because someone brought a stinky cheese plate. My pop-up at art school in the 50s. I am a hospice nurse. Years ago I was admitting someone to one of our inpatient units and helping their family member set up Wi-Fi. It wasn't connecting, and I said we must be in a dead zone. I immediately realized what I said and was mortified. Thankfully the family member thought it was hilarious. Oh geez. I also work in hospice, but as a social worker I literally have to resist the urge to crack a joke sometimes because that's how my family deals with heavy stuff. My uncle died at home, at the kitchen table, in 2014. I wasn't there, but my sister said tons of fluid came out when he died. He had terminal lung cancer and hospice was there. I left work to be with my mom and grandma, and to my horror, the floor was still sticky. They'd hastily mopped, and someone thought it was a good idea to bring sympathy lasagna to eat at that very table. Oh, that's just tasty right there. When I was in my 30s, a childhood friend of mine died unexpectedly. This guy was the stereotypical class clown that made everyone laugh. He happened to also be a physically large person. While alive, he spent a lot of his time catching trout on a local river. After he died, his family thought it would be appropriate to have him cremated and then spread his ashes on his favorite river. So, all of the decedent's family and friends are gathered on the riverbank, as the minister is conducting the funeral. Myself and my group of jackass friends are standing together and paying our respects. So today I fucked up all day with perfect weather. The river water is crystal clear and flowing at a nice pace. The moment arrives where the minister is to open the urn and dump the contents into the boat. Today I fucked up a flowing river. The ashes are to become one with the water and carried to the four corners of the earth. My friend is to travel to places in death that he never did in life. A fitting celebration to the life of a boat. Today I fucked up a soul. As the minister tilts the urn, the ashes come spilling out. They hit the water and sink. As he continues to pour, the ashes start piling up at the bottom of the river. It starts as small pile and grows to a larger mound. There was no boat. Today I fucked up a cloud in the water. There was no becoming one with the river. There was just a small hill of cremated human remains in the bottom of a river. Witnessing these events, one of the jackass friends says too loudly, "Damn, even his ashes are heavy." Our little degenerate group busts out laughing in the middle of the funeral, on the banks of that crystal clear river. I started laughing even harder when it occurred to me how much my friend would have enjoyed that stupid comment. Sometimes it takes laughter to get through the tough times. It sounds like your grandfather was a special person. God, I love funny stories like this. It reminds me of my grandfather. My grandfather passed at age 90. They were putting him on hospice and were giving him 1 to 2 months, but said he was perfectly stable and not going anywhere that day. Well, he was convinced he was going that very minute. Made my mom and I hold his hands while he'd try to say some picture perfect last words, take a deep breath, and then sit there in silence. After a minute of that, he'd do it again, and switch the words up a little bit. But he just wouldn't die. It was like trying to watch Michael Scott's sinker behind the back shot. My dad, who was leaning against the wall during all of this, shifted his weight and accidentally hit the light switch, turning the reading light on right over my grandfather. You could hear the excitement in his voice. There it is, I see the light, it's finally time. While we have to hold back the weirdest mix of grief and comedy tears I've ever had in my life. One of my grandmothers happened to die during summer. We went to a funeral home for a service, open casket. We walked in, it was chilly inside. My girlfriend said, "It's so cold you could store meat in here." She didn't realize what she'd said until my uncle stared at her, shook his head, and walked away. Today I fucked up by not washing my dick for 19 years. Today I present to you my lifelong fuck up. I'm a 19-year-old guy, I own a penis, and I've never cleaned it properly in my life. So, today I was taking a piss at my job, and I noticed a small yellow fragment at the top of my penis. I wondered where it came from. The only logical answer was the inside of my dick. So I peeled my foreskin back, a little further every pull, and when I got right to the edge of my glands, I found the place it originated from. My penis was covered with a yellow, clay-like substance. At first I thought it was normal, but then the smell hit me. I realized what had happened. When I was younger, my dad told me that to wash my dick, I should pull the foreskin back. And I did, or so I thought. I have always washed my dick by pulling back the foreskin just slightly, until it uncovered just the tip of my glands. I thought that was just fine and I never really thought anything of it. I have also been sexually active while this shit was probably in there. but never more than once with the same girl. Weird coincidence. Anyway, I'm realizing all this while still standing at the urinal at work. I tried to peel the loose pieces off, and they let go pretty easy. The biggest pieces are still stuck to my dick. It looks pretty much like their continents. I put my dick in the sink and turned the faucet on, hoping I could wash the big plaques off. I couldn't. My dick was sensitive as hell and the pieces are stuck. I'm about to go in the shower and peel at it with Q-tips and my fingers until it's clean, and I plan on washing my dick better in the future. I hope that what I've accumulated right now doesn't lead to any serious issues. Too long didn't read. Haven't washed my dick properly in 19 years, but I wasn't aware. Now my dick has a crusty smegma layer that I'm going to have to peel off. Edit, I just stood in the shower for 20 minutes getting bits and pieces off. Most of it is behind the hood so to speak, and I can get that loose quite easily. However, some of it is on my glands and I can't get it loose for the life of me. I nearly fainted for real when I tried to scrub it off. Anyone know of a method to get it off? Edit, for all the other guys that have made the same mistake as me, I've done my research on this phenomenon now, and pretty much all the trustworthy sources I've read say to do the following. Wash daily with mild soap, for the rest of your life. Don't use cloth/Q-tips/hands to scrub it off. Just keep washing with soap daily until it's gone. If it doesn't get cleaned by washing with soap, go to doctor. Edit, why the fuck are so many people asking for pictures? I thought I was the nasty one here. When you wrote about washing in the sink at work, I thought for sure someone was going to walk in and see you. Ha ha ha, it's a one-person bathroom and I'm something like a janitor, so I washed the sink immediately after. But no, no one could have walked in. Reading Reddit while on lunch break. Co-workers, watch a Riadin. Me. Posts like these are the reason I, as a straight woman, always start with a hand job. Then once I've fully rolled up the rim, I'm Canadian, and seen that there's nothing under there, maybe I'll put my mouth on it. Yes, Plaza, for the love of God, everyone needs to inspect your partner's bits before any sexual encounter. I feel so bad for those girls. Today I fucked up by reading this post. Batman's new nemesis, Claydick.